gosh. Ooh, hey, what's up? So listen, I really just want to make this a quick one because like it's just on my mind. In case you can't tell, I mean, even though I feel like it's fairly fucking obvious, I am stoned. Weed is tight. Weed is tight. So listen. I was sitting here and I was thinking about, I said I was stoned, right? Yeah, I said that. I was sitting here and thinking about this conversation I was having with my mom one day. And, you know, as you get older, right, relationships change, relationships grow. And bruh, when I tell you that me and my mother, when I tell you, it was so hard for me to not okay, from ages 12 to 19. It was so fucking hard for me to not put a pillow over her fucking face as she slept. It was so my God, I would go on fucking autopilot. I fucking got through on autopilot because I don't understand how the fuck she survived. Honestly, I don't know how the fuck either one of us survived it. It was just a very crazy time. Yeah, she and I did not have the greatest relationship. I mean, but you know, like I'll eventually talk about that because our relationship has changed so much, and it's really just having to do with like just discarding all that listen. I'm not gonna make this shit about the Bible, but fuck the Bible, right? The Bible is not fucking literal. It's not literal. It's not. You mean that's like I said, I'm not gonna make this about the fucking Bible. I'm not. But once I eliminated, and it's sometimes difficult for her to do that because she's up there in age, like, you know. So sometimes it's really difficult for her to do that, but like I fucking push it. I push the boundaries. So like doing away with all that, I talk to my mother like my mother's my homegirl. And that is how, I mean, shit, the way our relationship was back then, it was either, you know, we get super cool or we not fucking with each other at all. And so we chose this route because, I mean, anyway. So having a conversation with my mom one day, and, you know, she and I were just talking about, like, past relationships, and I think it was something like, she asked if I could do it all over again, you know, would I date the same people, and yada, 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 and then it just kind of evolved into this conversation in which we were kind of, like, discussing our sexual escapades. And it made me realize just how much, like, my view / opinion has changed on the idea of sex. Like, my relationship with sex anyway is so difficult and it's so complicated, and without, you know, delving too much into it, I am a victim of SA. I am a victim of R. And, you know, I from a very young age, the R didn't come much later, much later, which is that was a good fucking hit. And I was telling my best friend, who I also call my sister, like, I was like, it's so fucking sad, like, how casually I'm able to discuss, like, these things, but shit, right? Like, the weed helps. And so anyway, I do have a really, really complicated relationship with sex. A difficult history, I would say. Just trying to understand it. Really quickly, I am someone who I have been told, like, I've been told that I have a tremendous amount of sex appeal. It's been said, you know, various ways. Damn, girl, you got a lot of sex appeal. I mean, like, and so it took me a very long time to understand, like, what the fuck does that mean? Because, like, there, a lot of those times I would be fucking, like, in sweatpants, or jeans, baggy clothing, big t-shirts, like bandanas. I used to, you know how you used to wear the, till you realize that they're bad for your hair. When I was younger, I would wear like the bandanas. And I would still always hear, and it was so confusing to me because I'm like, okay, like, what? Like, I'm not giving off sex vibes. And these guys were not aggressive where it was kind of like rapey or anything like that. They would just say it like very like a matter of fact, you know, like, hey, you got a lot of sex. And so I really struggled to understand that. And then I eventually learned that I had a habit of leading with my sexuality, but unintentionally, totally unintentionally. Like, I'm very conversational. I'm very personable. I'm very engaging. And I'm a natural flirt. And it's funny to me because I'm not even really, like I tell people who cannot see me, look, listen, I'm not the most beautiful woman in the world, but when I'm made up, you know, I'm a solid fucking 5. I'm a solid fucking 5 when I'm made up. And listen, you come to realize as you get older, like the way you look, like guys don't even give a fuck about that. But see, I'm doing too much. Forgive me. Like, this is a stoner's brain. Like, please try to keep up. I didn't realize I've been talking for 6 minutes. Wow. Yeah. And I say that to say, like, I'm not the most attractive person in the world. And so I kind of was way more inhibited way back when. And I was just kind of like, I don't... Let me go ahead and hit this cone because I'm thinking. I knew early on that something had happened to me sexually when I was a child, when I was like in my teenage years. There would be little things, little flashbacks, little like dreams that kind of like came out of nowhere. Like, certain people were showing up more in my dreams, and I would always just get like this feeling of dread, this sense of dread. And there are some things that I can recall just a little bit too well to make my mother comfortable. So I knew relatively young that there was like an oral fixation. And when I say relatively young, like when I was 18. I have not ever been one for penetrative sex. For penetration, it's just not my thing. I'm much more of like a pillow princess, okay? So already I view sex differently. Just so happened for me, you know, I lost my virginity when I was 18, and then I got to college and I met the love of my life. He was the second person that I'd ever been with, and he was my everything. We got knocked up, we got engaged, we got knocked up, we lost the baby, and then we lost each other. He passed away. And for me, I still, this is a totally different topic, but I still have not grieved him, which is really, really scary. And I think that I'm hoping, because I can't grieve him sober. I can't, it's immobilizing. It's immobilizing, like it freezes me into place. And so, like, I can't grieve him sober. So I try to grieve him under the influence, and it's definitely much easier to discuss it. But I don't think that I've processed it still, which is kind of alarming because it happened so long ago. But that's the thing. That's what I'm getting at. You know, there are all certain types of traumas that people endure. And for me, the trauma, there were 2 traumas for me. The first trauma would be, of course, you know, that he passed. Excuse me, that he passed. And the second trauma, which is really the one that takes priority, is the trauma of love. Like, to love is so fucking and see it depends. And love is different for people. I mean, you hit different degrees of love is what I'm trying to say. And I don't think that I can't even describe this level of love. To love someone so hard, to love someone so much. And it's not like, because I'm a personality person. And we were best friends. We were such best friends that people who did not know us, when they would see us interact and they would see us kiss, they would say, hold the fuck up. Like, and I think I said this before in the recording. Hold the fuck up. Aren't y'all related? Because, like, we were always together. We did everything together. Oh, my God. We were just, like, it's so fucking crazy to love your best friend. I mean, who the fuck saw that? It was just crazy. And it was crazy because he and I were such best friends that when he kind of initiated the whole, like, hey, I think that, like, I might really like you. I'm like, whoa. Like, we are, like, I swear to God this happened. I was like, we are, like, this is perfect. Like, our friendship, like, we don't want to fuck this up. Let's not fuck this up. And he was like, okay. And then we were intimate, and I was like, holy, like, I was just like, yeah. I was like, it's such a, God, I'm going to do that one next. I'm going to talk about that later, about the real reason. Because, like, that's, like, the real reason that, like, your parents, I don't even think that they know this, though. But that's, like, a real reason for waiting until you are mature enough to have sex. Not the sex act itself, but the fucking emotions that come with that. And that's so deep because, and I say that in my old age, stoned as fuck, that's so deep because kids don't know that's what being a kid is. It's like, you just mismanage your fucking emotions. That is a fucking kid. Kids often do not know how to really manage their emotions, hence like tantrums and anger, just like you know, like the highs and the lows, and everybody's quick to diagnose their kid like, oh, my kid's bipolar. No, your kid is probably just trying to fucking figure out their emotions. Oh, let's talk about that later though, because that's something else. But anyway, my whole point is this love is so fucking deep that it's like a curse, because it's like, why the fuck would you do, like, you know what I mean? I feel like it was such a dangerous kind of love, because it was like one wrong move and I might just kill a motherfucker for you. But it was mutual, and that right there is the fucked up shit. So my body experienced so much trauma from such a deep fucking love that his passing was kind of like, it's hard to explain because I haven't really processed and I haven't grieved it. So this is like me in real time processing. I don't want to say that it was relief, because it's kind of like, oh my God, like, you know, release me shit. Like, it's hard to explain, like, to be afraid of that kind of love, like to love someone so fucking deep that I'll fuck someone up for you. Like, I will fuck someone up for you. And the fact and knowing that he was the same way, ooh, with me being this kind of fucking flirt, I knew how much it took. I mean, you know, like unintentional flirt, where he'd be like, he'd be like, listen, I will literally like take 2 steps away and guys jump in your fucking face. He's like, what the fuck? Because like I had this really bad habit of like looking down and not speaking to people because, like, I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds crazy, but it's not what it sounds like. It was just because I'm a natural flirt, and I wanted to make it so fucking clear to him that, listen, look at me, look, I'm not doing nothing, I swear, I'm not doing nothing. And once he realized that, he was like, listen, he was like, you don't have to do all that shit with me. I know you not going nowhere, so be you. And oh my God, I was like, yes, someone who accepts me for me. Cause I'm just a fucking, like, I'm fucking, you know, I'm unusual. I'm strange. I'm kind of weird, like, but I mean, like, damn, like, that to me is like someone who is basically telling you, I'm not your other half, you're a whole, and I love your whole. You know what I mean? Motherfuck flaws and motherfucking all. And I still can't listen to that. I can't listen to that. There are certain songs that I cannot listen to. Beyonce, flaws and all, I cannot listen to. All for One, So in Love, I cannot listen to it. Eminem's Crazy in Love, Crazy on You, I cannot fucking listen to it. But and there are some there are some days depending on the day, and I'm getting way too fucking deep here, so I'm getting way too fucking deep here, so yeah. So to love like that is so, you don't realize how exhausting it is until it disappears, and the void is so fucking big, you know. You're just kind of like, whoa. You don't realize how a part of you that person was or is. And so I was just like, I'm not. I knew I would not ever find that kind of love again. Like, I just knew. I was like, see, and a lot of the times, sometimes if I'm not under the influence as much as I should be, or as far as I should be, if I'm not as far gone as I should be, I'm sometimes like, that's why he's not here anymore, because we were not supposed to fucking meet. And especially like when he and I would sit there and we would talk about like our story, like our plans. All of our plans put us in alignment with one another. Like, he was like, yeah, I applied to this school and this school. Holy shit, I applied to that school and that school too. Or that's just an example. Or finding out like how fucking close we live to one another, meeting in another state, finding out that we're from the same home state, finding out how fucking close in proximity we live to one another, realizing that we frequented these same fucking places and could have seen each other God knows how many times, right? Little things like that. But so after him, when I knew, I was like, fuck, I'm not going to find that again. I'm not going to find that. I was just kind of like, listen, is it better for me having loved, having experienced what people only wish that they could experience? Having experienced that, is that something that I'm prepared to experience again, to handle again? Do I have the ability? You know, and so and it's difficult not to compare. So difficult, but we do that anyway. You know, even when we go out to a fucking restaurant, bro, and I hate to use McDonald's because McDonald's is so fucking disgusting. So I'll use I'll use like ice cream. I'll use ice cream. It's like when you have, when you try daiquiri ice for the first time. Wow, I just dated the fuck out of myself. When you try daiquiri ice for the first time, you're like, oh, this is really fucking good. Oh, but you know what? Sherbet is kind of like you don't mean to. You don't mean to compare, but you just kind of do. And I very quickly learned, I was like, nope, I don't think I'm ever going to find this again. And so I was like, okay, so I think that I'm okay with just having like a bunch of, because I'm a people person. I love meeting people. I love new experiences. And I'm just like, I'm okay with having a bunch of small love affairs. A bunch of torrid love affairs. Like I've loved, and I've loved hard. I've been loved hard in return. It was not our decision to not be together. The universe fucking decided that. The universe was like, listen, about this. So, like, I just kind of had to fucking deal with that. And I was like, the next best thing, right? I would like to, and I'm someone who does, I think I just said this, but I'm stoned, so I can't remember. I'm someone who, like, I live for the experience. I do things for the experience. I do things to say, I did that, right? I do, and so I would meet these guys, and I'd be like, I don't really, nope. Nice to meet you. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it was almost, we know right away if we're into a guy or not. And I was just like, yo, what the fuck? And I've gone to several different states, and what the fuck? Like, I've just not ever felt, I'm not going to say that spark, because it wasn't like it was a spark, but I've just, that connection, such an organic connection. But I have met people, guys, who are like, okay, like, there's way more good in you than bad. And like, hey, you're respectful enough. Like, you're not coming across all rapey and all forceful and all aggressive. And, you're fairly honest. It's been fucking 8 months. I haven't caught you in a lie yet. You know what I mean? And so when you meet these people, you're just kind of like, oh shit. Okay, so there are other fairly decent people in the world. Because let me tell you, knowing that I'm not, and I said this in the beginning, and I'm going to wrap this up because I've been talking way too long. Knowing that I'm not into penetrative sex, but I'm a very sexual person, that really makes it fucking easy for me to just be like, because I'm so stingy with, the fuck? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Why the fuck would I come up off my vagina when I don't get anything out of it? Like, I'm just supposed to give this to you so that you can have fun? You got me fucked up. Hello? Like the ice cream machine. I mean, the ice cream truck. Hello? Yeah, I'm just so fucking stingy with my shit, which is sadly, and I don't know if it's ironically, but what led to me being R-worded, because I tell people I'm not coming up off this, and they're really like, man, yeah. But I mean, you learn, you grow, and that's why I say, like, as you get older, your views on sex change. I've been R-worded, and I can't see myself. That's another story, but it's another story. It's another story. And I say that to just say that, like, and especially all the shit that's going on nowadays, bruh, do we really need to talk about, you know what? I'm gonna talk about that next. But, yeah, so anyway, I say all that to say that I decided long ago that having a bunch of safe sexual escapades and love affairs is not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with wanting to experience new people. And I say that as someone who doesn't really subscribe to the idea that you have to be tied to one person forever, especially depending on your circumstances. You know what I mean? Like, we're into different things, and you're gonna meet a lot of guys who I don't know, but there's absolutely no shame in that. Like, the fuck, lucky for me, when I die, the creator is not like, I have to check in with so and so before I can let you in. It would be a totally different story then, you know, but that ain't how it worked. You know why? Because most motherfuckers are sinning way more than I do. But I'm just saying, sex changes. Your opinions on it change as you get older. And so my mother and I were having this conversation. And my mom's like, you know, and it went into like a unique territory, because it's kind of like, well, have you ever, what she asked me was, have I ever done anal? And it was really just like out of curiosity. It wasn't because she was just like, have you ever done it? I was like, no. It's an exit, not an entrance. The fuck? She was like, oh, okay, good. I'm like, Mom, have you? She's like, no, my God, are you kidding? She's like, with my low tolerance for pain, absolutely not. I was like, okay. But then she goes, you know, I'm like, well, have you done, you know, so the questions go into, and I asked her, have you ever dated, like, friends? And she said, well, yeah, I've dated friends, but not meaning to, like, it was just a different time back then, you know, like, I'm like, uh-huh. She's like, I didn't date them at the same time, and I'm like, I was like, well, have you ever dated two brothers at the same time? She's like, oh my God, no. Have you? I was like, no, me either. And then sipped my tea, because I kind of have. I didn't fuck either of them, obviously. That was when it all just kind of broke apart, because he was like, wait a minute, so, like, you're not fucking? He's like, you don't plan to fuck me? And I was like, but you don't give head. And I'm for damn sure not, like, I don't like you enough to come up off of my vagina so that you can get some enjoyment. Like, if you're not going to eat me out, then it's not going to nothing's happening. And on that note, because I've been running my fucking mouth for way too long, I'm out.